Snow fell heavily over the silent mountains. The world was white, cold, and empty. Deep among the trees stood a small wooden cabin, old but strong, built far away from cities and noise. Inside that cabin lived a single human man. He had chosen this place to be alone, to live quietly, far from the troubles of the world. That night, the storm was worse than usual. Wind howled like a wild animal, shaking the walls and covering all tracks outside. The man sat near the fire, listening to the sound of wood cracking as it burned. Then, suddenly, he heard something else. A noise. It was faint, almost lost in the storm, but it did not sound like wind or falling snow. It sounded like movement. Slow. Weak. The man stood up. His hand moved to a simple flashlight. He opened the cabin door, and freezing air rushed inside. Snow hit his face as he stepped out, boots sinking deep into the ground. Near the edge of the trees, he saw something strange. A figure. Small. Thin. Lying in the snow. As he moved closer, the figure tried to crawl away, leaving a weak trail behind. Then the man froze. This was not an animal. And this was not human. She had pale, faintly glowing skin, marked with strange patterns. Her eyes were large and filled with pure terror. One of her arms was bleeding dark blue blood, staining the snow around her. The alien woman stopped moving. She had no strength left. Her body shook violently, not just from cold, but from fear. In her mind, this was the end. Across the galaxy, humans were feared. Stories described them as violent, cruel, and merciless. She had heard those stories since childhood. Humans did not help. Humans destroyed. Now she was alone, injured, hiding on their world. The man slowly lowered his flashlight. He did not speak. He did not rush forward. He simply stood there, careful not to scare her more. The alien woman closed her eyes. She waited for pain. For death. But it did not come. Instead, she felt something unexpected. Warm fabric around her shoulders. A gentle movement as the man wrapped her in a thick blanket. His hands were steady, not rough. Not cruel. She opened her eyes in shock. The man spoke softly, using simple words, even though he knew she might not understand. His voice was calm. Human. Real. He lifted her carefully and carried her toward the cabin. Every step made her heart race. She expected betrayal at any moment. But he did not change. He did not smile in a dangerous way. He did not shout. Inside the cabin, the warmth hit her like a wave. The fire crackled. The smell of wood filled the air. The man placed her near the fire, keeping distance, giving her space. She watched him closely. He brought water. Then food. He placed them near her and stepped back. Why was he doing this? Her entire body was tense, ready to react. Her mind searched for hidden threats. But all she saw was a tired human, watching the storm outside his window. Her injury burned. She let out a small sound of pain before she could stop herself. Immediately, the man turned back, concern clear on his face. He knelt slowly and showed her a small medical kit. He waited for her permission. That moment broke something inside her. No human had ever asked before. Outside, the storm continued. Snow covered all signs of her arrival. Far above, in the cold darkness of space, no one knew where she was. Yet, as the fire burned quietly, and fear battled confusion inside her heart, the alien woman realized something terrifying. She might survive this night. And somewhere in the distance, unseen scanners searched the mountains, getting closer with every passing second. Morning came slowly to the mountains. The storm had passed, leaving behind deep snow and heavy silence. Pale sunlight entered the cabin through small windows, touching the wooden floor and the quiet fire that was still warm. The alien woman woke suddenly. Her body tensed, and her eyes searched the room in panic. For a moment, she did not remember where she was. Then she saw the walls, the fire, the simple human tools. Her breath became fast. She was still alive. Still inside a human cabin. She tried to move and felt pain in her injured arm. A soft sound escaped her throat. Instantly, the man turned from the window. He had been watching the mountains outside, as if guarding the world itself. He raised his hands slowly to show he meant no harm. She watched him closely. Every movement he made was studied, judged, feared. In her mind, humans were monsters wearing calm faces. That was what her people believed. That was what the galaxy believed. She remembered lessons from her past. Humans conquered worlds. Humans showed no mercy. Humans enjoyed fear. But this human did none of that. He brought water and placed it near her again. He did not come too close. He respected distance. This confused her more than violence ever could. The man gently pointed at her arm and then at his medical kit. He waited. She hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to refuse. But her body was weak, and her injury was getting worse. Slowly, with shaking hands, she gave a small nod. The man moved carefully. He cleaned the wound, his face focused and serious. His hands were firm but gentle. He did not rush. He did not hurt her. She flinched once, expecting pain, but he stopped immediately. He waited again. This moment shook her deeply. No one had ever stopped for her fear before. As he worked, she studied him. He looked tired. Lines marked his face. His eyes showed loneliness, not cruelty. This was not the monster from the stories. When he finished, he wrapped the bandage neatly and stepped back. He offered a small, uncertain smile and returned to his seat near the fire. Time passed in silence. The alien woman slowly ate the food he had given her. It was simple, warm, and safe. Each bite felt unreal. Her thoughts were in chaos. Everything she knew about humans was breaking apart. Outside, something moved. Far away, hidden under the snow, scanners activated. A soft pulse moved through the mountains, silent but deadly. Alien hunters were close. Inside the cabin, the man suddenly became alert. He stood and looked toward the trees. He felt it too. Not fear, but instinct. The alien woman's heart dropped. They had found her. She tried to stand, panic rising. She did not want the human to suffer because of her. She moved toward the door, ready to run into the snow and face death alone. The man blocked her path. He shook his head slowly. He pointed outside, then at the fire, then back at himself. His message was clear. Stay. Hide. He would not let them take her. Her eyes filled with shock. Why would a human protect an alien? Outside, shadows moved between the trees. A low hum filled the air. The hunters were searching carefully now. The man opened a hidden floor panel and revealed a small underground space. He gestured for her to go inside. She hesitated only for a second. Then she trusted him. As she lowered herself into the darkness, fear and hope mixed inside her heart. The floor closed above her, hiding her from the world. Above her, the man stood alone in his cabin, facing the storm, the hunters, and the galaxy's greatest lie. And somewhere beyond the mountains, a signal waited to be sent, one that could change how the universe saw humanity forever. The hum outside the cabin grew louder. It was low and steady, like the breath of a machine that never slept. Snow drifted down as dark shapes moved between the trees. The alien hunters were close now, careful and patient. Inside the hidden space beneath the floor, the alien woman held her breath. Darkness wrapped around her. She could hear her own heart beating fast. Every sound from above felt like the last moment before discovery. Above her, the humans stood still. He could hear them too. A sharp knock struck the cabin door. The sound echoed through the wood. Then another knock came, harder this time. The human did not move at first. He knew what was outside. He had lived alone long enough to understand danger. The knock came again. He opened the door slowly. Cold air rushed inside, followed by tall figures covered in dark armor. Their eyes glowed faintly behind smooth helmets. They scanned the cabin with silent machines, their movements precise and without emotion. "We are tracking a fugitive," one of them said in a flat voice. "An alien female. Injured. Dangerous. You will step aside." The human looked at them calmly. He did not raise his voice. He did not show fear. "There's no one here," he said simply. The scanners hummed louder. Red light passed over the walls, the floor, the fire. The machine paused for a moment near the hidden space. Below, the alien woman squeezed her eyes shut. This was it. The hunter stepped forward. "Your planet is under no protection. Cooperation is advised." The human felt a tight pressure in his chest. He understood what they were saying. If he refused, they could take him. Kill him. Burn the cabin to the ground. No one would know. He thought about the alien woman. About her fear. About the way she had trusted him. He made his choice. She ran past earlier, he lied. Toward the ridge. "You're too late." The hunter studied him. The scanner pulsed again, then suddenly stopped. Snow interference, the machine decided. The storm had hidden too much. After a long pause, the hunter turned away. "Continue the search." The figures disappeared into the trees as silently as they had arrived. The hum faded into the distance. The human closed the door and leaned against it, breathing hard. Only then did he open the floor panel. The alien woman slowly emerged. Her body shook, but her eyes were wide with disbelief. She had seen everything through a small crack. Heard every word. He had lied for her. He had risked his life for her. She fell to her knees, overwhelmed. Her people taught that humans only chose violence. That humans protected only their own. Yet this human had done the opposite. Tears formed in her eyes. She did not try to hide them. The human sat beside the fire again, exhausted. He offered her water without speaking. His hand still shook slightly, but his face was calm. She drank slowly, then looked at him. "You could have given me up," she said quietly, her translator finally forming clear words. "Why didn't you?" He looked into the fire for a long moment. "Because it was wrong," he answered. That was all. That simple answer shook her more than any weapon ever could. Outside, the mountains returned to silence. But something had already changed. Later that night, when the human slept, the alien woman activated a small device hidden in her wrist. A single message recorded quietly. She spoke of fear. Of lies. Of a human who chose kindness when the galaxy expected cruelty. She sent the signal into space. Far beyond the stars, it began its journey. And when it arrived, the galaxy would never be the same. The signal traveled faster than fear. It crossed dark space, slipped past patrol lines, and reached places the alien woman never thought would listen. When it arrived, it did not bring weapons or threats. It brought a story. Across the galaxy, councils gathered. Screens lit up with her image. She looked weak but calm, wrapped in human cloth, sitting near a fire made by human hands. Her voice was steady as she spoke. She told them about the storm. About the mountains. About hiding in a human cabin while believing death was certain. She spoke of the lies she had grown up with. Stories of humans as monsters, destroyers, creatures without mercy. Then she told them what really happened. She described the human's hesitation, his care, the way he waited for her permission. She showed the bandage on her arm. She played recordings of the hunters knocking at the door. She played the human's voice, lying to protect her. Silence spread through the chambers. Some leaders reacted with anger. They called it a trick. A staged message. Human manipulation. Others watched closely. They saw details that could not be faked. The fear in her eyes at the start. The change in her voice by the end. Soon, more signals followed. Hidden aliens across human space began to speak. Traitors. Refugees. Survivors. They shared similar stories. Humans who gave food. Humans who hid them. Humans who chose compassion over reward. Data did not lie. The truth spread faster than denial. On Earth, the human knew nothing of this. He continued his quiet life in the mountains. The alien woman healed slowly. She helped when she could, learning human words, watching human habits. She saw how humans cared for simple things. Fire. Food. Shelter. Each act was small, but together they showed something powerful. One night, lights appeared in the sky. The alien woman stiffened. Fear returned, sharp and cold. She looked at the human, ready to run again. But this time, the ships did not hide. They descended slowly, openly, with no weapons charged. Massive shapes hovered above the snow, casting long shadows over the cabin. The human stepped outside first. He stood alone in the snow, calm and unarmed. A projection appeared in front of him. Alien leaders, dozens of them, watched silently. Their voices came together as one. "We were wrong," they said. The words felt heavier than any threat. They explained what her message had done. How it broke centuries of belief. How humanity's image had been shaped by fear, not truth. "We came prepared for war," the voice admitted. "But your choice changed that." The alien woman stepped beside him. Her fear was still there, but it no longer controlled her. She spoke again, this time live, to the galaxy. "Strength is not cruelty," she said. "Real power is mercy. Humans showed me that." Across the stars, reactions exploded. Some worlds cheered. Some protested. But none could ignore it. Plans changed. Fleets turned away. Weapons powered down. The galaxy had expected conquest. Instead, it found conscience. As the ships slowly rose back into the sky, the human looked at the alien woman. He did not feel proud. He did not feel heroic. He felt human. And somewhere far away, a galaxy began to understand what that truly meant. The ships left the sky as quietly as they had come. Snow fell again, soft and slow, covering the marks they had left behind. The mountains returned to silence, but the universe did not. Across the galaxy, the human's choice became a turning point. Worlds that once warned their children about humans began to question those lessons. Old records were opened. Long-hidden data was reviewed. Again and again, the same pattern appeared. Humans had helped when they did not need to. Humans had protected the weak even when it brought them danger. Fear had shaped the stories. Not truth. The alien woman stood at the window of the cabin, watching the snow fall. Her body was stronger now. Her wounds had healed, but something inside her had changed forever. She was no longer running. She was no longer hiding. Soon, she would leave Earth. A small ship waited beyond the mountains, hidden but ready. The galaxy wanted to hear her speak in person. Councils wanted answers. Some wanted peace. Some wanted to understand humans better. Some were simply afraid of what they had almost destroyed. The human helped her prepare. He said little, but his actions spoke clearly. He packed supplies, repaired her damaged device, and taught her simple human habits. How to face fear calmly. How to choose right over easy. On the day she left, they stood outside the cabin together. The cold air felt different now. Less hostile. Less lonely. You changed everything, she said softly. The human shook his head. I just did what felt right. She looked at him, truly looked at him. A single human, alone in the mountains, had done more than fleets and weapons ever could. When her ship lifted into the sky, she did not feel fear. She felt hope. Before the highest council in the galaxy, the alien woman spoke again. This time, she was not weak or injured. She stood tall, steady, and unafraid. She told them the final truth. Humans are not gentle because they are weak, she said. They are gentle because they choose to be. And when they fight, it is not for conquest. It is for protection. The galaxy listened. A new decision was made. Humans were no longer labeled a threat species. They were recognized as guardians. As protectors. As a race capable of restraint, empathy, and strength balanced together. Trade routes opened. Communication began. Old plans for war were erased. Historians recorded the moment carefully. They did not name it after a battle. They named it after a cabin in the snow. Back on Earth, the human returned to his quiet life. He never asked for thanks. He never spoke to the world. He fixed his roof, chopped wood, and watched the seasons change. Sometimes, at night, he looked at the stars. And sometimes, far above, ships passed silently, watching Earth with respect instead of fear. Across the galaxy, one truth remained clear. Humanity did not rise by force. Humanity rose because, when faced with fear and power, one human chose kindness. And that choice shocked the entire galaxy forever.